Beneath our cities and fields, entire worlds lie forgotten in the dark. We are walking over the rooftops of hidden metropolises, carved from stone and lost to time. By the end of this journey, you will see human history in a completely new light. We will explore 20 subterranean complexes that suggest vast cities sleep under the earth, from ancient temples with impossible acoustics to modern bunkers built in secret. What forced entire communities to live underground, and what did they leave behind? How many of these secret networks are still waiting to be found? The evidence is all around us, buried just out of sight. What do you believe is the most compelling reason a society would choose to build its home in the earth? The stone doors of Derinkuyu are more than just ancient barriers. They are a testament to a society that mastered the earth itself for survival. Deep in the Cappadocia region of Turkey, this is not a simple cave system. It is a vertical metropolis descending 18 levels into the soft volcanic rock, a honeycomb of living spaces, churches, storage rooms, and even wineries. At its peak, it could shelter 20,000 people, along with their livestock and food supplies for months on end. The engineering is breathtaking. 52 ventilation shafts ensured a steady supply of fresh air to even the deepest chambers, while intricately carved wells tapped into underground water sources. Each level could be isolated from the others by rolling massive, wheel-shaped stone doors into place, sealing inhabitants safely away from any threat above. How did a people from the Byzantine era with only hand tools plan and execute such a monumental feat? Archaeologists like Erdogan point to a profound, accumulated knowledge of geology. The builders understood the rock's properties perfectly, knowing exactly where to carve for structural stability. This was not a haphazard excavation. It was a master-planned community, built with a communal purpose that speaks volumes about the times they lived in. The sheer scale suggests it was constructed over generations, a long-term project for a population that knew invasion was not a matter of if, but when. And this leads to the most compelling mystery. While we date Derinkuyu to the Byzantine period, some of its lowest levels remain unexplored, blocked by collapses or deliberately sealed. What if this city is not the original construction, but merely the uppermost layer of something far more ancient? Could it be built upon the ruins of a lost civilization, their own refuge from a forgotten cataclysm? The existence of Derinkuyu forces us to ask how many other subterranean worlds are still hidden, their entrances concealed by sand and legend. This question pulls us eastward, to a place where myth and reality are inseparably fused beneath the deserts of Iran. The silence of the desert gives way to a city of the dead. Far below the bustling streets of Paris lies a kingdom of bone, a labyrinthine network where the remains of over 6 million souls are stacked in silent, macabre patterns. This is not a simple burial ground. It is an ossuary of staggering scale, where femurs and skulls form walls of intricate design, a haunting art installation born from grim necessity. These tunnels began their life not as tombs, but as the limestone quarries that built the city above. By the late 18th century, Paris's cemeteries were overflowing, a public health crisis festering in the heart of the metropolis. The solution was as logical as it was chilling: to systematically relocate the dead into the abandoned quarries, creating a subterranean mirror of the city itself. Yet, as historian Elaine Clement points out, the catacombs are far more than a solution to a sanitation problem. They are a physical archive of Parisian history, their walls whispering stories from Roman settlements to revolutionary hideouts. This layered past fuels the most persistent legends, tales of secret societies conducting occult rituals in hidden chambers deep within the unmapped sections. Could there be truth to these stories, with vast portions of the network still officially sealed off or lost? The possibility remains that the public catacombs are merely the antechamber to a much larger, hidden city beneath our feet. A place not just for the dead, but for the living seeking refuge or pursuing mysteries far from the light of day. What other secrets might be concealed behind these walls of skulls, waiting for a chance encounter to reveal them? This invitation to spiritual mystery pulls us eastward to a place where the earth itself is considered sacred. Salt can be more than a mineral, it can become a kingdom. Deep beneath the town of Wieliczka in Poland, a labyrinth carved from salt rock reveals a world where the work of miners transformed into an act of worship. This was no ordinary mine. For over 700 years, from the 13th century until 2007, workers did not just extract salt. They sculpted an entire subterranean complex of breathtaking artistry. They carved chapels with altars and pulpits, hung chandeliers glittering with salt crystals, and filled vast chambers with statues of saints and mythical figures, all from the very rock they were mining. The air itself is thick with the taste of history. One chamber, the Chapel of St. Kinga, is a cathedral hollowed from the earth, large enough to host weddings and concerts for hundreds of people. Underground lakes mirror the crystalline ceilings, creating a dizzying, endless reflection. Geologist Dr. Nowak emphasizes that the mine's incredible stability and sheer scale, with over 178 miles of tunnels, meant it could have easily supported a large population for extended periods. This fact blurs the line between an industrial site and a potential secret city. During times of war or plague, could entire communities have vanished into this glittering refuge? The miners left behind more than just art. They embedded their own folklore into the walls, tales of hidden princesses and secret kingdoms that some believe are more than just stories. Could there be entire sections of the mine, now sealed and forgotten, that served as clandestine living quarters or storehouses? Wieliczka forces us to reconsider every deep mine in the world. What other mineral-rich depths conceal similar wonders, not of glittering salt, but of hidden human habitation? Our path now leads to a desert oasis, where water and mystery flow together in a hidden city of caves. Derinkuyu was not an isolated marvel, but merely the most famous citizen in a vast subterranean nation. The Cappadocia region of Turkey is a geological wonderland, famous for its fairy chimneys, yet its true secret lies beneath the soft volcanic tuff. Here, dozens of underground cities like Göbekli and Eisriesenwelt form a sprawling, interconnected web. While Derinkuyu plunges deep, Göbekli spreads wide. Its 8 excavated levels, a maze of narrow passages, storage rooms, and intricate ventilation systems. These were not just shelters, they were fully functional communities, complete with stables, wine presses, and churches, all carved with a profound understanding of subterranean living. A single city is a curiosity, but dozens suggest a civilization that looked downward for safety as a matter of course. The engineering is consistent across sites, featuring the same rolling stone doors, vertical air shafts, and carefully planned water management. This points to a coordinated effort, a shared body of knowledge passed down and refined over generations. Archaeologist Professor Gulbe proposes a timeline that stretches back millennia, suggesting the earliest excavations may date to the Hittite era, a powerful Bronze Age empire. Later, early Christians famously expanded these tunnels into vast refuges from Roman persecution, carving their crosses into the walls. But this reveals a profound pattern, a tradition of underground refuge spanning different cultures and millennia. Each wave of inhabitants did not build from scratch. They were inheritors, expanding upon a foundation laid by a much older, forgotten people. What recurring threat or deeply ingrained belief would cause this tradition to persist for so long? The sheer number of these complexes implies a lost network that once spanned the entire region, a hidden territory existing in parallel with the world above. Could the cities we have found be just the surviving fragments of a broader, unified civilization that lived primarily beneath the earth? The answer to that may lie not in a city, but in a single, impossible machine. Dixia Cheng is a monument to 20th century fear carved into the earth. Beneath the modern towers and ancient hutongs of Beijing lies a hidden city designed not for permanent living, but for survival against an apocalypse. Constructed primarily by citizen volunteers during the tense years of the Cold War, this vast network of tunnels was intended to shield millions of residents from aerial attacks. Its scale is almost unimaginable, with passageways stretching for dozens of miles, connecting subterranean spaces that included not just shelters, but fully equipped hospitals, schools, shops, and even light manufacturing facilities. This was a city designed to keep life going, a functional replica of the world above, preserved in the dark. Officially, much of Dixia Cheng is now closed, its entrances sealed behind unmarked doors or repurposed as storage for local businesses. This very inaccessibility has fueled decades of speculation. Urban explorer Lai Wai has documented how some sections, far from being purely utilitarian, feature architectural touches reminiscent of much older designs, vaulted ceilings and carved supports that echo the Ming dynasty. This has led to a compelling theory that the Cold War builders did not start from scratch. Could they have simply expanded and repurposed a much older network of tunnels, perhaps escape routes from the Ming era or even secret passages from a lost imperial city? The idea transforms Dixia Cheng from a mere bomb shelter into a palimpsest, where modern paranoia is written over layers of ancient secrets. Its existence forces us to wonder what other political capitals, centers of global power, have been forced to dig deep to ensure their continuity. This fusion of modern necessity and ancient mystery is a powerful reminder that our deepest fears often lead us to build upon the foundations of our deepest history. And sometimes the secrets we bury are not for war but for worship, drawing us to a spiritual underworld far across the globe. The silence of the Hypogeum of Hal Saflieni is not an absence of sound but a canvas for it. In this Neolithic labyrinth beneath Malta, carved from soft Globigerina limestone over 5,000 years ago, the very air seems to listen. Certain chambers are acoustic marvels where a single spoken word can resonate through the entire complex, vibrating not just in the ear but deep within the chest. One specific room, the so-called Oracle Room, is engineered so perfectly that a low-frequency voice can create an echo that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at once, a phenomenon that would have felt profoundly supernatural to its creators. This was far more than a burial site, though the remains of thousands were carefully placed in its niches. It was a temple designed to manipulate perception, to induce altered states of consciousness through sound and shadow. Archaeologists like Dr. Vella see in its symbolic art, with its spirals and carvings of corpulent figures, the hallmarks of a sophisticated culture that likely revered a mother goddess. The Hypogeum feels like a physical gateway to an underworld belief system, a place where the living could commune with the dead or with powerful, unseen forces. Its builders left no written records, only this breathtaking subterranean puzzle. Their entire worldview is encoded in the curves of the chambers and the precise amplification of sound. This raises a humbling question: how many other foundational sites of human spirituality were first established not on mountaintops, but in the deep, dark womb of the earth? Our search for these spiritual roots now carries us to a place where water and wonder merge into a hidden city of caves. Water is a gateway to another world. Across Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, the earth opens up into vast, natural sinkholes known as cenotes, revealing a labyrinth of flooded caves and underground rivers that stretch for hundreds of miles. For the ancient Maya, these were not just sources of fresh water. They were sacred portals to Xibalba, the terrifying and revered underworld, a place of gods and spirits. It was here, in the still, dark waters, that they performed their most profound rituals, offering precious objects and sometimes even human lives to appease the deities below. The geology itself feels mythical. The entire peninsula is a massive slab of porous limestone, and over millennia, rainwater has dissolved the rock, creating these immense caverns. When the ceilings of the largest caves collapsed, they formed the cenotes, the natural skylights that illuminate the turquoise water. This network is not a series of isolated pools. It is a single, interconnected aquatic highway, with systems like the Sac-Acton Cave representing one of the largest underwater archaeological sites on the planet. Marine archaeologist Dr. Cantero explains that the water in these cenotes is uniquely preserving. Unlike on the surface, where artifacts decay rapidly, the stable, mineral-rich water of these underground rivers can protect wooden tools, textiles, and even human remains for over 1,000 years. This gives us an almost perfectly preserved snapshot of pre-Columbian life, a window into a world that would have otherwise vanished. Divers have found perfectly intact pottery, jade offerings, and the skeletons of those who were sacrificed, all resting silently on the cave floors as if time itself had stopped. This preservation raises a tantalizing possibility. If the Maya used these caves so extensively for ritual, could they have also used dry sections of the vast network for refuge or even habitation during times of extreme drought or conflict? The interplay of geology and mythology here is profound. The very landscape was woven into their belief system, suggesting that the boundary between the physical world and the spiritual one was as thin as the surface of the water. Could entire communities have adapted to a life partially lived within these hidden aquifers, navigating by torchlight through chambers now completely submerged? What other water-bound secrets, entire submerged settlements or ceremonial centers, await discovery in the unmapped stretches of this dark, liquid world? This seamless blend of ancient belief and cutting-edge exploration leads us directly to a site where modern technology is the only key to unlocking an even older mystery. Official statements insist the sprawling tunnels beneath Denver International Airport are just for baggage handling and fuel lines, a simple necessity for a modern travel hub. Yet from the moment of its opening in the 1990s, this airport has been a magnet for theories that suggest something far more significant is hidden below. The construction was notoriously delayed and billions over budget, with rumors swirling about workers being sworn to secrecy and entire sections of blueprints being classified. The airport's own public art only deepens the mystery, featuring apocalyptic murals of dead children and burning cities, and a gargantuan, demonic blue Mustang statue with glowing red eyes that greets visitors at the entrance. This is not the typical decor for a place welcoming families on vacation. Investigative journalists like John Stone have compiled accounts from construction workers who describe cavernous, unfinished halls and strange architectural features that serve no apparent logistical purpose. These empty spaces are at the heart of the speculation. imagined as everything from a clandestine bunker city for global elites to a secure facility for housing extraterrestrial artifacts. The theories, while fantastical, are fueled by a very real sense of scale and secrecy. Could this vast underground network be a modern Derinkuyu, a purpose-built refuge designed to ensure the continuity of government or a select portion of society in the event of a major catastrophe? The airport's location, built over a former military base and far from the city center, only adds to its perceived strategic value. While officials consistently deny any cover-up, the enduring public fascination reveals a profound truth about our relationship with the subterranean world. We instinctively understand that what is built beneath our feet is often what is meant to last, or what is meant to be kept secret. The Denver tunnels, whether mundane or miraculous, show how easily a modern infrastructure project can become a canvas for our deepest anxieties about power, survival, and the unknown. This blend of documented fact and rich folklore pushes us to look differently at every massive public works project, to wonder what foundational secrets might lie beneath the foundations we can see. From a place shaped by human fear, we now journey to a world carved by the patient, immense power of nature itself. A starry sky exists not above, but within the earth. In New Zealand's Waitomo caves, the darkness of a limestone cavern is pierced by the gentle, blue-green light of thousands of tiny glowworms. These larvae of a species of fungus gnat cast their bioluminescent threads downward, creating a breathtaking subterranean galaxy that has captivated visitors for generations. Yet beyond this natural spectacle, a deeper history resonates through the damp air. Maori oral traditions speak of these caves not merely as beautiful places, but as sacred spaces used for shelter, as burial sites, and for ceremonial purposes by ancient tribes known as the Waitaha. The caves were living landscapes integral to the spiritual and physical survival of the people. The geology itself is a record of immense time. Over 30 million years, acidic water patiently dissolved the soft limestone, carving out a sprawling network of deep chambers, vertical shafts, and underground rivers that still flow in the darkness. Modern technology is now revealing the true scale of this hidden world. Recent LiDAR mapping has identified anomalies and potential passages that branch off from the known tourist routes, suggesting entire sections of the cave system remain unexplored and inaccessible. Geologist Dr. Hayes explains that such stable, deep cave environments are perfect time capsules. Dry ledges and protected alcoves within Waitomo could easily contain archaeological evidence, from charcoal remnants of ancient fires to tools or carvings left by those who sought refuge here. This raises a compelling possibility that during periods of intertribal conflict or long migrations, these luminous caverns served as temporary cities, providing not just safety, but also a source of water and a spiritual guide in the form of the glowing ceiling. The ethereal light would have been a practical comfort in the overwhelming dark, a natural compass pointing the way home. This seamless fusion of natural wonder and human history challenges our definitions of a city. Must it be built from stone, or can a community temporarily claim a ready-made cathedral formed by nature? The glowworms hint that sometimes the most profound shelters are not constructed but discovered. This idea of adaptive refuge finds a stark and deliberate parallel in the tunnels of a nation at war. Warfare itself can be fought from the shadows beneath the earth. The soil of the Cu Khai district in Vietnam hides a sprawling, three-dimensional battlefield, a network so extensive and cleverly concealed that it fundamentally changed the nature of combat. Stretching for over 120 kilometers, the Cu Khai tunnels were far more than just hiding places. They were a complete subterranean city designed for prolonged guerrilla war, containing living quarters, field hospitals, command centers, kitchens, and even weapons factories, all hidden just a few meters beneath the surface of enemy camps. The entrances were masterpieces of deception, tiny trapdoors concealed under termite mounds or camouflaged by leaves, virtually invisible to soldiers walking overhead. Historian Nguyen Van Min describes how life in these cramped, dark passages required immense resilience. Ventilation was provided by discreetly hidden shafts, often disguised as natural anthills, while bamboo pipes were sunk deep to draw water from underground sources. The air was thick with the smell of damp earth and sweat, and the constant threat of discovery meant movement was a silent, disciplined crawl. How did an army of volunteers with only basic tools create such an effective and resilient complex? The answer lies in a profound understanding of the local terrain and a desperate need to survive against a technologically superior force. The tunnels were not just dug, they were engineered with deadly ingenuity, featuring false corridors, booby traps made from sharpened bamboo stakes, and soundproof chambers located directly beneath areas of heavy enemy activity. This raises a deeper historical question. Were the Viet Cong fighters the originators of this concept, or were they continuing a much older tradition? Some theorists point to evidence of ancient tunnels in the region used by villagers to evade invading forces centuries earlier. This suggests a long-standing cultural memory, a knowledge passed down that the Earth itself could be the greatest ally in an asymmetrical conflict. The existence of Kukai forces us to look at every conflict zone in the world with new eyes. What other networks, born from desperation and ingenuity, remain buried and forgotten beneath fields of battle? From the intense pressure of hidden warfare, our journey now descends into a place of profound silence and spiritual retreat. The Earth itself can become a cathedral. In the highlands of Ethiopia, the town of Lalibela is home to a miracle of faith carved directly into the mountainside. Here in the 12th century, under the directive of King Jeba Meskel Lalibela, workers did not build upward with stone, but downward, excavating 11 monumental churches from solid volcanic rock. These are not structures placed in a cave. Each one is a freestanding building, painstakingly liberated from the surrounding stone, creating a subterranean complex of worship that was intended to be a new Jerusalem for pilgrims who could no longer reach the Holy Land. The scale of this endeavor is almost incomprehensible. To create the Church of St. George, known as Bete Georgis, workers carved a massive 30-meter-deep trench in the shape of a perfect cross, then began the delicate work of shaping the church within it, hollowing out the interior and chiseling intricate windows and details. The entire complex is a labyrinthine network, with the churches connected by a system of narrow tunnels, drainage ditches, and ceremonial passages, all existing below ground level. Scholar Dr. Elamaya, who points to the legends that surround this place, tales that claim the work was completed with supernatural speed, aided by a host of angels who labored alongside the masons by night. While these stories speak to the divine wonder the site inspires, the reality of the engineering is perhaps just as miraculous. The builders possessed a profound understanding of rock mechanics and hydrology, carving the structures to manage water runoff and ensure their stability for centuries. This precision has fueled a compelling modern theory. Could these magnificent, visible churches be merely the upper level of a much deeper complex? The sheer amount of excavated rock is unaccounted for, and some researchers, using ground-penetrating radar, have detected anomalies suggesting voids and potential chambers deep beneath the existing floors. What if the true treasure of Lalibela is not the churches we can enter, but a sealed crypt below, a time capsule from the earliest days of Christianity in Africa, holding ancient scriptures or sacred artifacts hidden from centuries of conflict? This was, after all, a kingdom under pressure, a spiritual fortress designed to preserve a faith under threat. The existence of Lalibela challenges our very definition of a city. It was not a place for mundane life, but a dedicated metropolis of the soul, a hidden capital for a nation's spirit. If faith could inspire such a breathtaking underworld in Ethiopia, what other sacred geographies might conceal their own depths? This search for hidden foundations now draws us to a place where myth and geology are inextricably fused. A mountain in Colorado has been hollowed out to become a city of perpetual vigilance. The Cheyenne Mountain complex is not a relic of ancient history but a living, breathing fortress, operational around the clock since the height of the Cold War. Carved from 2.5 billion years of solid granite, this installation was designed for a single, stark purpose: to house the North American Aerospace Defense Command and survive a direct nuclear impact. Its architecture is a marvel of modern paranoia. 15 three-story buildings, including command centers and fire departments, rest atop a system of over 1,300 massive springs, allowing the entire complex to sway and absorb the shockwave of a thermonuclear blast. The mountain itself is the primary shield, with half a mile of rock providing a natural barrier against even the most powerful weapons. Inside, it is a self-contained world, complete with its own power generators, a 600,000-gallon water reservoir, and blast doors so immense they feel like the gates of a mythic underworld. This is a city built not for living but for enduring, a testament to what a society will engineer when faced with the threat of its own annihilation. Yet the very secrecy required for its function has birthed a shadow world of speculation. Why is the complex located in such a remote, isolated area, far from any major population center? What lies behind the countless classified doors and restricted access corridors that are never shown on official tours? Security analyst Maria Torres points out that while Cheyenne Mountain is a pinnacle of 20th century engineering, the psychology behind it is ancient. The urge to retreat into the earth for safety, whether from invading armies or falling bombs, is a constant thread woven through human history, from the stone doors of Derinkuyu to the tunnels of Coober. This facility is merely the latest, most technologically advanced expression of that primal instinct. The persistent rumors of expanded, hidden levels designed for long-term government continuity, or for housing artifacts and data deemed vital for rebuilding civilization, are fueled by this very understanding. We know the capacity exists, and in the absence of full transparency, the imagination fills the void. Cheyenne Mountain stands as the ultimate symbol of the blurred line between defensive necessity and clandestine power. It forces a difficult question: if this is the fortress they are willing to show us, what other subterranean command centers, built in even greater secrecy, remain entirely classified, hidden within other unassuming mountains across the globe? This journey from a granite-hard military secret now descends into a mystery carved from water and time, where an entire civilization may sleep beneath a silent lake. Water can preserve what time erases. Deep within the emerald expanse of Qingdao Lake in China, an entire city sleeps, its stone dragons and intricate archways frozen in a silent, aquatic embrace. This is Shicheng, the Lion City, a sprawling metropolis that was intentionally flooded in the 1950s to create a hydroelectric dam. While the waters rose to submerge it, they also sealed it in a remarkable state of preservation, protecting its exquisite carvings from the wind and sun that would have worn them away. Divers exploring its depths describe a ghostly, beautiful world where Ming and Qing dynasty temples, memorial arches, and private homes stand completely intact, their wooden beams still strong and their stonework crisp. The water is so clear that explorers can navigate the wide streets and gaze up at the ornate lion statues that gave the city its name. all while surrounded by the surreal silence of the deep. This was not a slow abandonment. It was a deliberate drowning, a sacrifice of history for modern progress. Yet, as marine archaeologist Dr. Lin suggests, the story may not begin with the Ming dynasty. The silt that blankets the city floor could be hiding far more than just the most recent layer. Core samples and sonar scans hint at structures and foundations that predate the known city by centuries. Could Shicheng have been built upon the ruins of a much older settlement, perhaps one connected to lost cultures whose names are no longer remembered? Its discovery forces a profound reconsideration of urban permanence. We build our cities of steel and concrete, believing them to be eternal. Yet here is a stone metropolis that has found its immortality not in the air, but submerged in a quiet lake. It is a real-world Atlantis, proving that the legends of sunken kingdoms are not always myth. They are sometimes history waiting just below the surface. How many other man-made reservoirs across the globe conceal similar treasures in their depths, their secrets hidden by the very water we use to power our modern lives? This aquatic mystery now pulls us to a dry desert where another city lies hidden under a blanket of sand. The rose-red city of Petra is a facade, a magnificent mask for a deeper truth. Beyond the iconic treasury building, carved so perfectly into the cliff face, lies a sprawling subterranean metropolis hollowed from the sandstone. The Nabateans, a powerful trading empire centered here from around 300 BCE, did not just build a city. They meticulously sculpted an entire urban landscape into the living rock, creating thousands of dwellings, tombs, and temples that descend deep into the mountain's heart. Their true genius, however, flowed like water through the stone. They engineered an intricate network of channels, dams, and cisterns that captured every precious drop of desert rainfall, allowing a population of thousands to thrive in one of the world's most arid regions. This mastery of hydraulics was their lifeblood, but their mastery of concealment was their shield. Archaeologist Dr. Fadi points to narrow, hidden passages carved between grand tombs, routes that could allow defenders to move unseen or for citizens to vanish during a siege. These secret tunnels lead to chambers that may have stored food, water, or treasure, turning the entire city into a fortified labyrinth. What modern visitors walk through is merely the public face of Petra, its grandest streets and most impressive monuments. Recent surveys using ground-penetrating radar have revealed startling anomalies, voids, and chambers deep within the rock that have never been entered. This suggests that the map we have is profoundly incomplete. Could entire wings of the royal palace or sealed ritual spaces dedicated to forgotten gods remain hidden, waiting for the echo of a footstep that never comes? The existence of these potential rooms fuels theories that the mountain itself is the true city, with the carved facades being merely its ornate doorways. Petra stands as a powerful lesson that even the most studied and celebrated archaeological sites can guard their deepest secrets just beneath the surface. It forces us to look again at every ancient crossroads, every legendary trade hub, and wonder what entire districts or archives might be sleeping in the dark directly under the tourist trail. This invitation to look deeper beyond the obvious now pulls us from the desert heat to a world of ice and shadow. The cold within the Eisriesenwelt caves is a presence you can feel on your skin. This is the world's largest system of ice caves, a labyrinth of natural limestone passageways in the Austrian Alps transformed into a glittering, frozen kingdom. For over 25 miles, these tunnels wind deep into the mountain, their walls sheathed in a permanent layer of ice that forms breathtaking sculptures, from towering frozen waterfalls to delicate crystalline curtains. The air is perfectly still and carries an ancient chill, a silence broken only by the occasional drip of meltwater. yet the local folklore that surrounds this place is anything but silent. For generations, stories have been told of giants, the Eisriesen, who carved these halls as their home, and of hidden realms that lie beyond the ice walls, accessible only to those who know the mountain's secret rhythms. This is not merely a geological wonder, it is a landscape steeped in myth. The caves themselves were formed by a slow, chemical dance. Acidic rainwater seeped through cracks in the limestone, dissolving the rock over millennia to create the vast caverns. Then, a unique quirk of geology took over. The cave's entrance structure allows cold winter air to sink into the lower passages, while warmer summer air rises and exits, a natural refrigeration cycle that causes moisture to freeze solid, building the ice formations layer by layer over centuries. While official exploration began in the late 19th century, the true depths of this system are still being mapped. Speleologists like Dr. Huber point to uncharted vertical shafts and passages sealed by ice, proposing that these deeper sections may have served a purpose long before modern adventurers arrived. The extreme, stable environment of an ice cave acts as a perfect deep freeze, potentially preserving organic material like leather, wood, or even evidence of ancient fires for thousands of years. Could small bands of prehistoric hunters have used the cave's entrance chambers as a temporary refuge from harsh storms, leaving behind tools now encased in ice? Might certain acoustically unique chambers, where sound echoes in strange, distorted ways, have been sites of spiritual significance for cultures that viewed the mountain as sacred? The very possibility forces us to expand our definition of a shelter. A place does not need to be warm to offer safety. It simply needs to provide a barrier against an even greater threat outside, whether that is a blizzard or an enemy. The existence of Eisriesenwelt and other frozen complexes like it in Greenland and Patagonia suggests that humanity's relationship with the underworld was as diverse as the climates we inhabited. These ice-bound time capsules may hold critical clues not just to past cultures, but to ancient climates locked within their frozen layers, a record of the Earth's own history written in ice. This chilling enigma of preservation now pulls us toward a very different kind of mystery, one where the sands of time have concealed not a natural wonder, but a man-made labyrinth of profound spiritual significance. The oldest temple in the world was deliberately buried by its own creators. At Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, a site dating back to an astonishing 9600 BCE, the monumental stone pillars carved with intricate animals were not abandoned to the elements. They were carefully, systematically backfilled with earth and stone, preserving them in a state of near-perfect suspension for millennia. Lead archaeologist Dr. Klaus Schmidt proposed a radical theory that this was not an act of destruction, but one of preservation. A civilization at the very dawn of agriculture and settled life chose to inter their most sacred site, sealing it away like a time capsule. This intentional burial is the site's greatest mystery. Why would a society invest such immense effort, quarrying and carving 20-ton stones with astonishing precision, only to hide their work forever? The answer may lie not in what is visible, but in what remains hidden below. Ground-penetrating radar has revealed tantalizing anomalies deep beneath the excavated mounds, suggesting the potential for networks of chambers or earlier structures that have never seen the light of day. The possibility exists that the Göbekli Tepe we have unearthed is merely the latest layer of a much older, much deeper complex. Could these hidden spaces have served as the true heart of the rituals, places of initiation or storage for sacred objects, accessed only by a select few? The site's alignment with celestial events further hints at a profound knowledge, a sophistication that rewrites our entire understanding of the Neolithic era. If a society this advanced existed over 11,000 years ago, what other foundational sites from our deep past are similarly concealed, their full scale still buried beneath the soil? This discovery forces a humbling shift in perspective, suggesting the first cities of humanity may not have been built upon the ground, but within it. Our search for these foundational layers now draws us to a place where the line between human history and geological wonder becomes impossibly thin. The forest floor of Aokigahara is a frozen sea of hardened lava. Beneath this dense, silent woodland at the base of Mount Fuji lies a different kind of labyrinth, not carved by human hands but born from the mountain's volcanic fury. These are the Aokigahara lava tubes, natural tunnels formed centuries ago when the outer surface of a lava flow cooled and solidified, while the molten rock within drained away, leaving behind long, cavernous passageways. Walking into the Narusawa ice cave is like stepping into a natural refrigerator, where the air is perpetually cold and pillars of ice remain frozen even in the height of summer. For generations, local villagers used these subterranean voids as natural ice houses, storing and harvesting ice that was then transported to the shogun's court. The constant temperature and profound silence created an environment perfect for preservation, a fact that did not go unnoticed by the samurai of feudal Japan. Historian Dr. Sato points to legends of the 14th century, where defeated warriors from the Genpei War were said to have used these tubes as hidden bases, vanishing into the earth to regroup and plan their next moves far from the eyes of their enemies. The tubes provided not just shelter, but a strategic network completely concealed by the forest above. This fusion of practical use and folklore fuels a deeper speculation. With large sections of the lava tube system still unexplored or deliberately sealed for safety, what older human adaptations might lie in the deeper, darker branches? Could there be entire sealed chambers that served as temporary villages for people displaced by war or natural disaster, their existence now lost to all but local myth? The eerie, almost sacred atmosphere of the forest above is deeply intertwined with the hidden geology below, proving that our stories of spirits and hidden realms are often directly shaped by the very real, physical mysteries beneath our feet. This seamless blend of volcanic history and human legend demonstrates how a landscape can become a canvas for our deepest fears and secrets. From these natural tunnels formed by fire, we descend into the ultimate man-made labyrinth, a city built not from rock but from data and light. Beneath the grand boulevards and onion domes of Moscow, a second, secret city is rumored to pulse with its own hidden life. Known only as Metro 2, this fabled network is said to run parallel to the public subway, a clandestine web of tunnels built under the direct orders of Joseph Stalin. Its alleged purpose was stark and singular, to serve as an escape and command system for the Soviet elite in the event of a nuclear war. Defectors like former KGB Colonel Oleg Gordievsky have provided chilling details, describing a system so vast it includes not just railway lines, but also secure bunkers, communication hubs, and even a self-contained underground city designed to house the political leadership for months or even years. The routes supposedly connect the Kremlin directly with other key ministries, military command centers, and remote, fortified locations far outside the capital. The Russian government's official stance is a masterclass in ambiguity, neither confirming nor denying the system's reality, a silence that only amplifies the legend. Urban explorers who have chanced upon sealed, heavily guarded tunnels or strange, unexplained ventilation shafts rising from secure zones add their own pieces to the puzzle, theorizing about a scale that could rival the public metro itself. This is not a relic, it is a living secret maintained and upgraded over decades, a direct descendant of the ancient refuge cities like Derinkuyu, but forged in the 20th century fire of Cold War paranoia. The psychology is identical, only the technology has changed. The existence of Metro 2, whether fully real or partly mythologized, forces a profound and unsettling question. If one superpower invested such unimaginable resources into a hidden world for its leaders, is it not a certainty that every other major world capital, from Washington to Beijing, has done the very same? These are not just tunnels, they are the ultimate insurance policies of power, a physical manifestation of the plan to survive when everyone else is left on the surface. This seamless fusion of state secrecy and subterranean engineering reveals a continuous thread in human history, where security is always found by digging deeper. From this world of political shadows, we emerge into a space where darkness is transformed by human creativity. The stone streets of Orvieto feel solid underfoot, but the entire Italian hill town is actually a hollowed-out shell. Beneath the piazzas and palazzos lies a second, inverted city, a labyrinth of over 1,200 caves, tunnels, and chambers carved directly into the soft volcanic tuff. This is not a single project, but a cumulative masterpiece of subterranean living, with its earliest roots in the Etruscan era over 2,500 years ago. The Etruscans first began the work, digging deep wells and cellar spaces, establishing a tradition that would be expanded by Romans, medieval monks, and Renaissance families. The uses of these spaces are a direct reflection of daily life. There are vast caverns with intricate niches carved into the walls, not for storage but for pigeons. These were sophisticated dovecotes, providing a reliable source of meat and fertilizer. Other chambers house massive, perfectly preserved olive presses, their stone mills silent witnesses to the industry that thrived in the dark. But the true genius of Orvieto lies in its duality. Alongside these domestic spaces run secret escape routes, narrow staircases, and hidden corridors that would allow the entire population to vanish from the surface in the event of a siege. Archaeologist Dr. Bianchi argues that this integration of the mundane and the military is the key to understanding the complex. It was not just a temporary shelter, but a fully functional hidden city that enabled a complete way of life to continue uninterrupted beneath the feet of any invading army. The preservation here is remarkable. You can walk through a medieval kitchen with its hearth still blackened by smoke, and then descend a staircase to find an Etruscan well shaft plunging into the darkness. This continuity of habitation, layer upon layer, completely shatters the notion that underground spaces were only for emergencies. In Orvieto, the subterranean world was a seamless extension of the home, a necessary partner in survival. This challenges us to look with new eyes at every historic hill town across Italy and the wider Mediterranean. Their dramatic locations were not chosen just for the view, but for the soft, carvable rock beneath them. How many other Orvietos are waiting, their hidden layers merely sealed behind a modern wine cellar or a forgotten basement wall? This blurring of daily life and hidden refuge brings us to our final site, a place where the search for treasure unearthed a mystery far greater than anyone imagined. Coober is a town that chose the earth over the sun. In the harsh, sun-scorched outback of South Australia, where summer temperatures can soar to a blistering 50 degrees Celsius, the residents long ago abandoned the idea of conventional housing. Instead, they live in dugouts, homes carved directly into the sides of hills and beneath the desert floor. This is not a historical relic or a secret bunker. It is a modern, functioning community that has embraced the subterranean out of sheer practical necessity. The town was established in 1915, after the discovery of opals drew prospectors to one of the most inhospitable landscapes on the planet. Faced with the unbearable heat and a lack of building materials, these early miners simply used the tools of their trade to dig their homes into the soft sandstone rock. What began as a simple survival tactic has evolved into a unique urban form. Today, Coober boasts underground churches with stunning stained glass windows, hotels where guests sleep in cave rooms, and shops and libraries all existing in a constant, comfortable temperature of around 23 degrees Celsius. This is a complete society living in the cool, quiet dark. Geologist Dr. Evans explains that the sandstone formations here are uniquely stable, allowing for the creation of expansive, high-ceilinged rooms without the constant threat of collapse that would plague other rock types. The rock itself acts as a perfect natural insulator, making these dugouts incredibly energy efficient, requiring minimal heating or cooling regardless of the extreme conditions outside. This modern experiment in underground living directly challenges our most fundamental assumptions about urban life. We are conditioned to build upward to conquer the skyline, but Coober suggests that the most sustainable path might be downward. What lessons can we draw from this dusty Australian town? It demonstrates that necessity can be the mother of not just invention, but of entire new ways of life. It proves that subterranean habitation is not a regression, but a viable adaptation to environmental extremes. As climate change intensifies and surface resources become strained, the model of Coober becomes profoundly relevant. Could the sprawling, energy-hungry metropolises of the future learn from this opal mining town, developing their own subterranean districts to reduce their environmental footprint and ensure resident comfort? The dugouts of Coober are a living laboratory, showing us that the boundary between a traditional city and an underground complex is far more permeable than we ever believed. So, what do these 20 complexes, scattered across continents and millennia, ultimately tell us? They reveal a pattern woven so deeply into the human story that it is impossible to ignore. From the stone doors of Derinkuyu to the data vaults of Cheyenne Mountain, from the sacred resonance of the Hypogeum to the practical dugouts of Coober we see a species forever drawn to the protective embrace of the earth. We dig for safety from war and persecution. We dig for spiritual connection to the unseen. We dig for preservation of our art, our knowledge, and our very way of life against the ravages of time and conflict. These are not isolated anomalies. They are chapters in a single, continuous history of subterranean civilization. This hidden geography suggests that our true legacy is not just written on the surface, in the monuments we build to the sky, but is also carved into the silent, dark rock below. The evidence compels a humbling thought. We have likely only found a fraction of what is there. For every known Derinkuyu, there may be a dozen lost cities still sleeping beneath the sand. For every mapped section of the Paris catacombs, there may be 100 sealed passages leading to chambers that have not seen a human face in centuries. The ground beneath our feet is not a solid, silent foundation. It is a living archive, a hidden territory teeming with the echoes of our past and perhaps the blueprint for our future. The next time you walk through a city park or hike a mountain trail, remember that you are a traveler in two worlds at once, moving through the air and light above, while just below, the secrets of ages wait in the patient dark. These 20 subterranean complexes form a single, sprawling story written in stone. From the ancient stone doors of Turkey to the modern dugouts of Australia, they are bound by threads of human need that transcend time and culture. The same ingenuity that carved ventilation shafts in Derinkuyu also engineered the ice-preserving tunnels of Japan. The same spiritual yearning that resonated in Malta's Hypogeum inspired the rock-hewn cathedrals of Lalibela. Whether the threat was invasion, climate, or cosmic annihilation, the response was often the same: to go down, to seek sanctuary in the Earth's deep embrace. This is not a collection of isolated curiosities. It is a global pattern, a recurring chapter in the human story. Scholar Dr. Lee suggests these sites might be more connected than we realize. He points to shared architectural principles and construction techniques found in complexes separated by vast oceans and thousands of years. While a physical tunnel linking Turkey to Mexico remains the stuff of fantasy, the conceptual link is undeniable. It points toward a global subterranean heritage, a collective human instinct to build worlds beneath our feet. This forces a profound shift in how we view our own history. We have long measured the progress of civilization by what we built toward the sky, our pyramids and our skyscrapers. But this hidden geography suggests our true legacy is also vertical, plunging deep into the ground. The most important insights into who we are and what we feared might not be found in the sun-bleached ruins on a hilltop, but in the cool, silent dark of a forgotten cavern. What if the cities we know are only half the map, with technologies like ground-penetrating radar and LiDAR now peering into the Earth without a single shovel? We are on the cusp of a new age of discovery. We may soon find that these 20 sites are merely the known landmarks in a hidden continent of human habitation, a lost world sleeping just beneath our own. This changes everything. It redefines urbanism, suggesting that the sustainable city of the future might learn from Coober's energy efficiency. It rewrites archaeology, hinting that the origins of complex society may be buried not by time, but by the deliberate acts of our ancestors. We stand at the threshold, looking down into the dark, finally beginning to understand that the foundation of human civilization is, and perhaps always has been, subterranean. Our journey through these 20 hidden worlds ends with a simple truth: the ground we stand on is not a dead thing. It is a living library of human ingenuity, its shelves stocked with stories of resilience carved in stone. Each rolling door in Turkey, each wall of skulls in Paris, each submerged archway in China whispers the same fundamental lesson: when faced with overwhelming threat, humanity's first instinct is often to dig in, to seek the profound safety of the Earth's embrace. These complexes are not failures of civilization, but triumphs of adaptation. They show us that the drive for community, for spiritual meaning, and for sheer survival can forge entire cities in the dark, parallel universes existing just below the surface of our own. This hidden geography forces a complete rethinking of our past. We have long celebrated the pyramids that pierce the sky, but perhaps the true marvels are the metropolises that plunge into the rock. What if the origins of urban life itself are not entirely a surface story? The evidence now suggests that a full understanding of human history requires us to look down as much as we look up. This perspective also lights a path to our future. In an era of climate uncertainty and resource strain, the sustainable, temperature-regulated model of a place like Coober offers a powerful blueprint. The next chapter of urban planning may not be about building taller, but about designing smarter, about learning from these ancient and modern masters of the underground. So the next time you walk your dog in a familiar park or drive through your own hometown, pause for a moment. Consider the layers of soil and rock beneath you. What forgotten passages, what sealed chambers, what echoes of a hidden city might lie just a few dozen feet below? The greatest archaeological discovery of our century might not be in a remote desert, but directly under your feet, waiting for a curious mind to ask the right question. I would love to hear which of these complexes captured your imagination most vividly. Was it the echoing oracle chamber in Malta, or the vast, secretive network of Metro 2? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this descent into history's hidden layers, subscribe for more journeys into the world's greatest enigmas. Thank you for exploring the unseen cities with me, and may your curiosity always lead you to new depths.